For this year is coming at a very good time. It's coming at a time when the entire university is in celebration.
It is not a matter of self-praising. If you want to score website of faculties, no faculty can come near the PG school. None. Because of the importance of website. Because many of our students, they don't come in through JAMB. They will navigate our website very well before they come. So if we are to sell our school, we need a very good website. And I will just mention some star things on our website. Don't forget, last year we graduated 13 PhD students. And now, if you go to the website, you will see an icon, Compendium of PhD Abstract. That is one of the few things they use to rate university. So if that is correct, I believe that our rating will soon appreciate in the university. We have testimonies from alumni, PhD graduates, master's graduates who have been saying nice things to entice students who may wish to apply to our school. A very big work is the finalization of the PG handbook. Sincerely speaking, it's very fantastic. And now our website is so interactive that we have a number of forms there. Form for this, for that. So our students don't go through any stress. Even if they call for anything, I will tell them, go to the website. All the questions you want to ask, they are already answered there. So that is the first thing we did. Number two, next slide. So we have been able to strengthen internal mechanisms of the PG school. We have in the PG school for the first time a QA/QI committee looking into so many things: student matters, teaching, and so on and so forth. And they've been doing very well. Supervision, they ensure that quality assurance and quality inspection is a routine process. There is one other committee that is being formed, and I don't have their report, but I think they are doing fine. I talk about a finalized handbook. There are 18 forms there. PhD is a complex process. Abstract form, post-field form, and so on and so forth. We now have a total of 18 forms on our website. And finally, teaching and result mechanisms enhanced in the PG school in the last 1 year. So, we have 8 new programs coming on board. My Vice Chancellor presented to us yesterday or Tuesday that 4 new programs came on board. Well, luckily, our DVC just give executive approval to 4 new ones because they are already advertised. So making a total of 8 new ones. You are wondering whether it has passed through Senate or not. You are safe. So computer science and 3 other ones. So we have 4 plus 4, 8 new programs coming on board. Last year, we admitted the highest so far in this school. The highest we ever had was close to 200. Last year, we admitted 357. And as at now, halfway into our admission process, we have up to 220 applicants already. I want to believe in the next 4 weeks, we can have less than 400. And we'll do fine the way we have done last year. Convocation. Yes, 13 PhDs, as I've reported, And I want to thank my VC once again for making sure that all our students got their certificate on the day of convocation. If you have not got yours, it means you didn't come for it. Your certificates are waiting there for you. And on Tuesday, you know, we have some backlogs, 2020 to 2024. She promised us that the printer that has been delaying, you know, a lot of security for our certificate. So the printing at the mint that has been delaying, that she's already looking into it. So in the committee of provosts, deans and directors of PG school, we have prominence. And the committee is already considering that UNIMED will hold the 2027 annual conference of the committee. By God's grace, we'll be hosting the whole Nigeria PG programs next year. Thank you very much. Today we are holding the 4th Interdisciplinary PG Discourse, and there are some plans that I want to bring on board. By God's grace, we want to organize a revision course for postgraduate students on systematic reviews and meta-analysis. And my digital VC, let me put it like that. She talked about AI in this, in pharmacy. Science said they want to enter too, and so many others. In the PG school, we are also thinking along that direction. We want to introduce what we call key digital technologies to our postgraduate students. One of the key digital technology is artificial intelligence. Let's see the last slide. So, in conclusion, I want to thank the PG board. All we have done beautifully well, that you are saying we have done. We've not done something new. We are only supporting the management of the university. So I want to thank the university community for supporting us. I want to thank management for supporting us. I want to thank all of you here for supporting the postgraduate school. And as I may step aside now, be my witness that I've delivered your message to your people. Thank you very much.
Let's put our hands together for the Dean one more time. I'm not surprised with the array of achievements he just read us with. Specifically, the PG school also was thanked by the Vice Chancellor on Tuesday. Once again, let's put our hands together for the Dean. And now I want to call on the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Academics, Professor Oyetunde Oyeyemi, to deliver the Vice Chancellor's address.
Thank you, Pierre. Good morning, everyone. The Acting Registrar, the Dean Postgraduate School, I won't call you guest speaker because you say homecoming. You are our own. So Professor Rosangela Umba, Deans, Director that are on seats, lecturers, postgraduate students, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to be formal. I know Pierre gave me a very formal lecture. I'm here to just give a remark. Maybe my remark will start from Professor Rosangela Umba, who happened to be my teacher years back at the University of Ibadan. Interestingly, we have a very rich history together. When I came to UNIMED, she handed over to me as the acting HOD. Interestingly, she's also handing over to me as a, DVCR card. This discourse is a very important discourse in the sense that we understand that to engage in impactful research, research can no longer be done in silo. No, you need to collaborate, you need to network with other scientists. And in the real sense of it, those that are really making impact, that are doing science that is transforming the world, are those that embrace interdisciplinary culture or multidisciplinary culture. And that's why I like the title of this discourse, the theme, that says synergy in a science transforming medical, health, and the scientific discovery or outcomes through interdisciplinary culture. So to foster the kind of development with so much, or innovation with so much desire as scientists, I believe this discourse is going to open our eyes. And I also want to appreciate the PG School for bringing the right person to give this talk. You know, when you bring up talk like this, always good to put the round peg in round hole. So Professor Umba, you know, is a perfect fit for this kind of discourse. You know, she's a scientist, a life scientist, you know, who has transversed every other area of, every other discipline. I know she works with malaria, trying to profile antibodies associated with a clinical malaria. So from that, you know that this fellow has worked with clinicians, she has worked with biomedical scientists, she has worked with scientists proper, she has worked with, you know, also you are seeing, you know, a scientist who truly believes in multidisciplinary research. And that's why I'm very sure that during the course of our lecture or of the discourse, our early career scientists, you know, will be spoiled, you know, in, I believe you will learn one or two things, and going further or going forward, you begin to think interdisciplinary. You will no longer think, I'm in biochemistry, I don't want to engage with those that are pharmacology, that are in the pharmacology, or those that are in zoologists. Interestingly, some of us are in the zoologists. I recall one lecturer sometimes ago said, I never knew zoology is so lucrative or is so nice. See the kind of science they are doing. You know, it's because some of us that you see that, you know, maybe we are flying in the feet because we embraced multidisciplinary research. If we have, you know, stayed on our line, or if we have, you know, ended up, you know, counting lions or trying to tame lions, you know, you wouldn't appreciate our science. So I welcome Professor Umba to back home, and hopefully you won't just shine your face, you will still stay with us for some time before you go back. And I want to believe that this discourse is truly going to be impactful, especially for our early career scientists. I could see a number of postgraduate students here, and I hope that
Thank you very much, sir. Please let's put our hands together for him one more time. Now, we are moving to the main business of today. And I want to respectfully call on our guest lecturer to please stand. This is the time I love most, when I can command anybody to stand, and they will have no choice than to stand.
Rose Angela Ifeanyiwa Onyenses, University of Medical Sciences, UNIMED, Ondo City, Ondo State, Nigeria. She took up the position of Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic in August 2021 after serving as the Dean of Postgraduate School, Dean of the Faculty of Science, and the pioneer head of the Department of Biological Sciences of the University of Medical Sciences, Ondo. Professor Nguba graduated as the best graduating student from the Department of Zoology, University of Jos, Nigeria in 1982. She obtained a master's degree in parasitology at the University of Ibadan in 1984 and was immediately employed as an assistant lecturer. Her PhD degree in cellular parasitology was awarded by the University of Ibadan in 1997 for a research project sponsored by the UNDP, World Bank, WHO, TDR training grant at Trinity College, Dublin, Republic of Ireland. She was a visiting research fellow at the then International Laboratory for Research on Animal Diseases, Nairobi, Kenya, and a postdoctoral fellow at the National Institute for Medical Research, London, under the sponsorship of the Welcome Tea of Ibadan from 1985 to 2018. During that period, she rose from the position of an assistant lecturer and a pioneer PhD student of Professor Mark Onwagu's newly founded Cellular Parasitology Program to the head of the program at the Cell Biology and Genetic Unit, Department of Zoology. Professor Onwuba led several project research groups, both as co-principal investigator and principal investigator at the University of Ibadan. She and a molecular and cellular parasitology malaria research group were agents, including the World Health Organization, MacArthur Foundation, and Wellcome Trust. During this period, she supervised over 45 postgraduate students for both their master's and PhD degrees. In UNIMED, she has served as a member of the University Governing Council since its inception and has headed several university committee boards. She won a Seeding Labs Instrumental Award in 2018 that provided research equipment for the Department of Biological Sciences to accelerate capacity building, institutional research, and effective teaching of graduate students in molecular parasitology, biotechnology, and genetics. She was successful in the 2019 TETFund National Research Fund Award on a project titled Epigenetic Determinants of Dizygotic Twinning, Non-Identical Twins in Southwest Nigeria. During the COVID-19 pandemic, she was instrumental in setting up 2 molecular biology labs. One was an NCDC-accredited molecular biology laboratory at the Center of Molecular Bioscience and Medical Genomics, which was equipped by the Ondo State COVID-19 Response Fund and the PTF COVID-19 Fund. The second was a TETFund-funded molecular biology unit at the Central Research and Reference Laboratory under the leadership of the Vice Chancellor, Professor Adeshegun Fatusi. Professor Onwuba is a member of many well-renowned associations, widely traveled, has facilitated many workshops, and presented numerous papers at both national and international scientific conferences. She has authored more than 50 publications on topics related to the epidemiology, immunology, molecular biology, and genetics of infectious diseases in several reputable scientific journals. Professor Rosangela Ifeanyiwa Onwuba is happily married to engineer Mark Onwuba.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. I'm glad to be back home, like they said. So the title of my topic discussed this morning is Synergy in Science, Transforming Medical Health and Scientific Research Outcomes for Impact Through Interdisciplinary Collaborative culture. I added impact to the title because there must be a reason for our collaboration. So there is for impact through an interdisciplinary collaborative culture. The Vice Chancellor, distinguished principal officers of the university, people from the University Teaching Hospital present. I can't see the CMD, but I welcome him in absentia. Deans of faculties, directors of centers and institutes, head of departments, esteemed professors, distinguished members of the academic community, invited guests, colleagues, students, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry. I like to wear my glasses, so. So it's both an honor and privilege to welcome you all to this 4th postgraduate interdisciplinary discourse at the University of Medical Sciences, Ondo. I sincerely appreciate everyone. Next generation of scientists, innovators, clinicians, leaders in healthcare and biomedical research. If we recall the first postgraduate interdisciplinary discourse titled Postgraduate Education as a Catalyst for Research, Innovation, and Acquisition of Teaching and Learning Skills, was delivered by Professor Ogunda Onsi in May 2022. And this was followed by the second discourse titled Establishing and Administrate the Culture of Academic Career Excellence of a Medical and Health Science by Professor Suzu, then the Dean PG School. And the third interdisciplinary discourse titled Scientific, Psychological, and Legal Correlates of Patient Safety Incidents was delivered by Professor Dozien last year in July 2025. So the title of this particular discourse, Synergy in Science, Transforming Medical Health and Scientific Outcome Through an Interdisciplinary Collaborative Culture, was inspired by a simple, just profound observation that most important scientific discoveries are rarely a product of isolated brilliance, but rather an outcome of purposeful collaboration. When I decided to specialize in parasitology within the zoology department in my final year as an undergraduate, I imagined that my future career will be determined primarily by acquiring additional discipline-specific expertise. However, years of research, teaching, mentorship, collaboration with colleagues in Nigeria and internationally have changed my way of thinking. And I hope most of us will change our way of thinking after today. I now know that modern science is not defined by strict disciplinary boundaries, but by our capacity to integrate diverse perspectives, technologies, and expertise to tackle complex health issues. Here in the University of Medical Sciences, we know that it was established with a vision to advance the first specialized medical university in Nigeria. UNIMED is in a very unique position to foster collaborations that transcend traditional academic boundaries. Possess this unique collection of medically specialized schools, faculties, institutes, research centers, teaching hospitals, to make genuine interdisciplinary collaboration possible. But we must intentionally harness these strengths that we have in UNIMED to lead us to an expected African hub of translation and collaborative medical sciences. So it is my hope that this discourse will encourage all of us, particularly our postgraduate students, I am emphasizing on that, and early career researchers. Also, seasoned academicians should change if they've not keyed into multidisciplinary research. And I want to also encourage the university management to rethink how we embrace intellectual diversity and to cultivate a collaborative science culture or research culture. So we'll start with the question, what is synergy in science? We can see the generated image of synergy combining molecular biology, chemistry, microbiology, communication, environmental sciences, bioinformatics, medical and health science, all coming together to collaborate, innovate, and discover things that will impact our society. So the title of this discourse reflects a conviction. I will take a cue from the biblical rebuilding of the wall of Jerusalem as a Christian, as a master class or masterpiece in synergy. You find where priests, goldsmiths, perfume makers, families from different cities came together to work side by side to achieve in 52 days what was impossible for an individual working alone. And you can read that from Nehemiah chapter 3. But now in science, synergy occurs when the combined knowledge, skills, creativity, and experience of individual from different disciplines produces outcome that exceed what each of them could have achieved independently. So we see synergy here as the practical expression of the simple but powerful principle that 1 + 1 can be greater than 2. Throughout history, many of the world's most significant scientific breakthroughs have not emerged from isolated laboratories, but from united collaborative efforts of diverse expertise. As a molecular biologist, I'll deal with it further in the topic. This required the coordinated effort of molecular biologists, geneticists, computer scientists, engineers, mathematicians, clinicians, statisticians, bioinformaticians from multiple countries. More recently, we also know that the impending spread at which COVID-19 vaccines was developed, the speed at which it was developed, was made possible by global partnership among academia, industry, government, regulatory agents, clinicians, public health experts. So these two examples highlight that scientific discovery has entered a new phase in which collaboration is both an advantage and is essential for innovation. What are the 3 ways of working together? So we have these 3 ways of working together: multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary. So the synergy in science can happen through these 3 ways. But you can see that multidisciplinary, although sounds great, can only... So you just don't do your own thing in biology, I do my own thing in chemistry, almost similar topics, and then we come together. No. For interdisciplinary, it starts from the beginning. It starts from the development of that project. And it starts because you ask questions and bring a team together, and you design the work, interpret the results, and translate its finding. For transdisciplinary, this goes even further than interdisciplinary because it incorporates communities, lawmakers, industry, and NGO if possible. And for a real-world impact in any research, you should imbibe interdisciplinary or transdisciplinary approach where necessary. It's very important. So we go to what a collaborative culture is. I want to lay down this before we start the topic proper. What is it to have a collaborative culture? Complex scientific problem, they will have a greater need for collaboration. So a collaborative culture is something encompassing. If we look at this fig on the board, we can see what we need and require to make a collaborative culture. We need intellectual humility. We need mutual respect work. And we are going to deal with this because in some universities, they give more acknowledgement for single authors, which should not be. Teams will be rewarded for doing that. So, if I looking back on the few past decades, I'm amazed at the pace of scientific advancement while demonstrating translational impact and capacity building. Scientific excellence depends not only on individual expertise, but on effective collaboration across different principles and disciplines and institutions. So if this discourse, we are only to look at interdisciplinary research, it will still be important. However, I believe that the greatest challenge is not simply coordinating or conducting collaborative projects, but creating an institutional culture in UNIMED. It becomes our natural way of thinking and working. It will become a culture that nobody can just wake up and start doing research without thinking about collaboration. And people that continue in that lane will be sidetracked. So it becomes a culture. Everybody embraces it. Research projects normally end. After the project, we submit and go. Grants definitely stop after its duration. Individual investigators will retire. Some of us will be retiring very soon, in a few years' time. However, when you institute a culture within a university, it endures across generations. It's not something, each generation comes and key into that culture. And this is what we want to install in UNIMED. Because we are uniquely positioned to work together. We can see that this is a small university, at least for now. Health, allied health sciences, basic medical sciences, medical rehabilitation, pharmacy, health law, and humanities. All can come together. And we also have supported centers, such as the Center for Molecular Bioscience and Medical Genomics, Center for Herbal Medicine and Drug Discovery, and we also have the University Teaching Hospital alongside with us. Only a few universities in Nigeria have such concentration coming together with complementary expertise. However, us being together and this physical proximity doesn't guarantee collaboration. We can see that even with all this concentration, little or no collaboration is happening in UNIMED. We remain isolated. Researchers want to work independently and publish so that they can be promoted. I don't blame that type of idea because it's a situation of publish or perish. So instead of you looking for other people to collaborate, you just stay in your little corner, cook up, not cook up. Okay. Sorry for the word. You stay in your little corner, get an idea that you want to work on, no matter how significant or irrelevant it might be, and just start working with your students. Nobody talks about it, you publish, and you get promoted. That's not what we want in this institution. And I hope we can imbibe interdisciplinary collaboration. So developing a collaborative culture requires intentional action. And like we see from this drawing, Intellectual people feel they are higher than others. My course is better off. I studied a very choicey, juicy course, so I'm up there and everybody is down here. It will not work. Willingness to recognize that no individual or any discipline possess all the answers. The way God created us, in fact, gives us that important idea that we can't exist in isolation. Can the head come and say, oh, I'm too much, I have the brains and everything, so the leg is useless? You can't do that. Like, I had a knee injury, and it affected my whole body. I couldn't think very well. My brain was not working well. So you can see they are interconnected. So you can't say the leg is useless. It's just my brain I need. So with their willingness to recognize recognize each other, their mutual respect is needed. And there should be open communication, shared ownership of research questions. So because we come together and in an interdisciplinary research to brainstorm about what are we going to do. Somebody brings an idea, say, no, let's modify it this way, and so on and so forth. So we have shared ownership of this research question. Nobody will say, it's my research. No, you have nothing to do with it. No, it's a shared research question. Then, more importantly, institutional policies, like I pointed out. The institution should intentionally create policies and even put it in their development plan that this is how we should go. Not just so if institutions imbibe this policy, then it will trickle down through the whole department. So it's required that we see ourselves not as separate departments competing for recognition, but as members of a single academic community united by a shared mission to improve health care. So we'll all agree that science has changed forever. We can't go back to when everybody is just doing his own thing. Science has changed forever. Let me start with this question. For instance, if a patient arrives in a teaching hospital with symptoms such as fever, weight loss, persistent cough, swollen lymph node, who is responsible for that patient? Is it the clinician, the microbiologist, the parasitologist, the pathologist, the molecular biologist, the radiologist, the pharmacist, the public health physician, or perhaps the bioinformatician who will analyze the genomic sequence that might be carried out later? I throw the question to you. Who owns that patient? All of them. The answer is straightforward. All of them, all of us share responsibility for that patient. And the patient doesn't recognize departmental boundary. He just wants to be healed. Since disease itself is interdisciplinary, our approach to the solution must be equally collaborative. In our world today, it has become almost impossible to solve problems such as emerging infectious diseases, antimicrobial resistance, cancer, non-communicable diseases, climate change, food insecurity, environmental degradation, and the ethical implication of artificial intelligence in healthcare. Let's not miss that. Artificial intelligence has come to stay. And we cannot solve that problem with a single discipline working in isolation. Instead, this problem requires integrating diverse knowledge systems, methods, technologies, and viewpoints of scientists willing to work across traditional boundaries, combining their knowledge, their skill to pursue solutions that improve life. Go alone. But if you want to go far, what do? You go together. So that's the key reason why you should embrace interdisciplinary research. Some people want to go fast, so they go alone, get promoted, become professors, and then so what? After that, what? But if you want to go further and create breakthroughs that will change the world, we need to imbibe interdisciplinary research. We are not saying that individual brilliance is not essential. It's essential to develop yourself in a field. But the greatest discovery and scientific breakthrough will most likely stem from collaborative research network. So, I saw an article from Ultra Dense Scientific, which was published in June 19, 2023. And they were celebrating 5 examples of interdisciplinary research that have proven to go further together. These collaborations have led to a significant breakthrough in brain-computer interface, climate research, space science, genomics, and cancer research. So they gave example of the Human Genome Project, which I had given example before, as used as an example before. And they acknowledged that it was one of the world's largest, greatest collaborative achievements in modern science in 1990, and declared completed in April 203 or 2003. And it was acknowledged to be a collaborative effort involving thousands of Sydney and China. They came together to map and sequence all the DNA in the human body. So this interdisciplinary research, I'm giving that as an example because we learned from the past, brought together researchers in genetics and molecular biology who identified and mapped location of computational biology that built the logarithm, databases, software required to organize, store, and analyze the billions of letters that make up human DNA. They had genomics and proteomics involved, and they sequenced the whole genome and later studied the proteins from the gene expressed. We had computer science and software engineering, who developed the high throughput computer and biochemistry involved. They created the reagents, chemical assays, radioactive markers necessary for the DNA sequencing, laser-based sequence machines, and hardware used to scale up the project. And we had humanities and social scientists that dedicated to ethical, legal, and social implementations. We had experts in the area of bioethics and philosophy within this human and social genomics. And we had experts in law and policy, identified approximately 20,000 to 21,000 human genes, created freely accessible genomic database. If you go online, you can access their database. And this accelerated precision medicine, which is one of the areas that is booming in science today. It revolutionized biomedical research. So we can see that every field of bioscience had gained from this project, from oncology to pharmacogenetics. So that is the slide. I should have opened it before now, portraying the Human Genome Project and how far they went. You can see the inter-collaboration. If you look at the logo for this project, you'll see chemistry, biology, physics, ethics, engineering, and bioinformatics spelled out in that logo. I know there was a time people were thinking that we should close up science department, the Faculty of Science, because this is a medical university. This goes contrary to what the world is imbibing, and I hope UNIMED will not go that line. Not because I'm a scientist, no, but because we cannot go further in medical discovery without science. Look at the COVID-19 vaccine development. It's another example. Here we had molecular biology, immunologists. But one thing I know, no matter how much collaborative journey, my first research experience as an undergraduate in the Department of Zoology introduced me to what collaboration looked like, although it was not interdisciplinary, but it was within the department, different units in the department. The Department of Parasitology, where I picked to do my project, and the Department of, not the unit, Physiology unit, where I had to go and do the work under another supervisor in physiology. I had to do a project on the physiology and biochemistry of parasites, nematodes then. And that opened my young scientific mind to an important aspect of parasitology. That parasitology doesn't only need to study the vector and transmission, that the physiological aspect is important. And it's important to the hosts and the parasites. There is interactional effect between host and parasite at a molecular level. And that opened my eyes to the research work. Then came my move to, that was in the University of Jos, by the way. It came my move to the University of Ibadan, still in the Department of Zoology. I chose parasitology for my master's. But there I met Professor Nwagu. Oh, sorry. I wanted to point at it. I don't know whether this point. Okay, the first picture there is Professor Nwagu. And he was interested in, he had the WHO grant, and he was interested in trypanosomiasis. He was a geneticist in the Department of Genetics unit, and I was in parasitology. And he was interested in this parasite, the trypanosomal parasite. And he was interested in the biochemistry of this parasite. And that rang a bell because I did biochemistry of a parasite in my undergraduate. He was not in parasitology unit, but I approached him and said, "Sir, I want to work with you." And he said, "That's fine." He had no students in the master's program then in genetics. And he said, "Fine." And he gave me a project titled Partial Purification and Properties of Glycosomal Phosphofructokinase of Trypanosoma brucei. This is a parasitologist looking into an enzyme in Trypanosoma brucei. This glycolytic enzyme was unique in that family because it was embedded in glycosomes, not in the cytosol or any other organelle. And this organelle was just being discovered around that period. So I worked on it happily. And that made me want to stay back for my PhD, which I did and worked under Professor Nwagu. So immediately after my master's, I was luckily appointed an assistant lecturer in the Department of Zoology. Then it was normal to take the best student and retain the student in the department. I don't think we do that nowadays because most best students don't even want to stay. The condition in the conditions in the university is such that it's no longer attractive. But I was excited. I was given a job. And that job was because he made a move to ask the vice chancellor that he wants this student retained because he wanted me to continue with my PhD. So you can see that just approaching one person opened my eyes to what I am today. And he gave me a project, still in line with what I did with my master's. And through all that, the cellular parasitology program was established. I was the first student in that program. And it was the first program like that in Nigeria. The cellular parasitology program's objective was to provide training opportunities for African postgraduate students, to establish a specialized laboratory equipped to conduct research on parasitic disease prevalent in Africa and Nigeria. So this program was sponsored by WHO, and it attracted Nigerian students and also students from other African countries like Kenya, Cameroon, Gabon. Students were admitted in this program and they registered for courses in parasitology, genetics, cell and molecular biology, biochemistry of parasites, which emphasized the real reason for developing that program. And they were looking at 2 tropical diseases, trypanosomiasis and malaria. And later on, we moved into schistosomiasis. And several prominent men and women were trained under this program because it involved not just our department, but other departments, people in the clinical sciences, in UCH. We are coming to teach some of our students, people in vet med, because we are dealing with trypanosomiasis. We are also interested. And you can imagine that some of these students, one example of a student that was trained under this program is Professor Christian Happy. I don't know whether you people have heard about him. He was a Cameroonian, and he is now a distinguished professor of molecular biology and genomics in the Department of Biological Science, and is the director of the Institute of Genomics and Global Health, formerly known as the Center of Excellence for Genomics and Infectious Disease, SGID, at the Redeemers University. He had made so much wave just by passing through cellular parasitology. And you know, when you instill a culture in somebody and it takes off running, he's unstoppable. He's learned to have led the team of scientists using genomic sequence to identify single point infection for an animal reservoir to a human during the Ebola outbreak in West Africa. He was one of the people. Wow. 5 minutes that helped to discover that. And recently he won a $10 million grant to continue his work. So we can see that he has gone so far from what he has learned from his postgraduate program. For me, to achieve these goals in my master's, I was meant to go to biochemistry department because I was working on an enzyme which my supervisor at that point knew nothing about enzyme kinetics. He was a zoologist and a geneticist, but he could not work on the major enzyme kinetics work that we are doing. So I was moved, I got a grant, a postgraduate fellowship, not postgraduate, a doctoral fellowship to go to the University of Dublin, Trinity College Dublin, to finish my work under Kit Tipton, which is the second person on that slide. So from that, after my PhD, we got a MIM TDR grant that involved multidisciplinary collaboration. And that was what opened my eyes to the importance of multidisciplinary research. This collaborative research was built capacity and was awarded by the Multilateral Initiative on Malaria and WHO's Special Program for Research and Training in Tropical Africa. In this group, in this project, we involved people from different disciplines. Molecular biologists, geneticists, epidemiologists, parasitologists, biochemistry was involved, statistics, clinical science, medical sociology. We have a medical sociologist here. Is Dr. Kolo in the audience? I know he's part of us. Public health, our dean is from public health. And from many institutions, from the University of Ibadan, University College Ibadan, the National Institute of Medical Research, London, was our northern partners, and now known as the Francis Crick Institution. We involved field workers in Ebola. So looking back on this journey, I have appreciated, and I come to appreciate, the true strength of research, that it lies not only in technical expertise or laboratory discoveries, but on the ability of diverse minds to work together towards shared scientific purpose. And from this grant, after Professor Nwagu retired, I applied for the same MIMTDR grant and was given an award as a PI. And you can see from that, that's our northern partner, Tony Holder, beside myself and Professor Nwagu. Professor Nwagu has always been a champion for interdisciplinary research. And in fact, recently, at 89, he just banked another PhD at 89 at the Institute of African Studies. He moved from being a molecular biologist to move completely to a different discipline. He's good at writing and at poetry, and he has done that. And that was his defense, both of us on his defense day last week, actually. He's 89 now, and he's still active, looking for what to do. Some other students in that program, I'm not joking, he's still walking and kicking, and very healthy. You can see collaborators coming to Nigeria. So collaboration is not just one-way trick, especially when you're collaborating with your interparts. I know that some of the collaborators of Dr. Ejamona have been here to visit his lab and see what he's doing. That's how collaborations should go. But even beyond that, and I know many people have been researching with collaborators, but they still do it in silos. Like most of us, I don't know how many people know Dr. Ejamona and what he's doing in his lab. Can you raise up your hand? Just a few. Who knows what Professor Yemi all the mighty work of research is doing in his lab? How many of you know? So just also a few people. So we should go beyond that. We should learn to integrate and at least intentionally form interdisciplinary research. What's the success story of my research work? It produced a lot of successes. At least, let me list some of them. This project strengthened our capacity within the cellular parasitology program, trained a lot of scientists to the PhD level. My first PhD student, the one on top on the right-hand corner, is now a top professor in Cornell University. He has his own chair, and he started from cellular parasitology. Actually, he moved from the Department of Biochemistry and came to do his master's in cellular parasitology. Stanley Adoro is there. Yusuf also there. He's in the US. Most of them have traveled outside the country. Christian Okafor, next to him, is also in the States. But we appealed to the university to retain some of them, and they are. The young lady below, unfortunately, is late. She was from Gabon, and she came to work with us. So at the end of this project, all proposed objectives were achieved, at least while I was the PI. 12 master students, 3 PhD students were trained, and publications were below is also another collaborator from immunology in the departmental division of parasitology in the National Institute of Medical Research in Lanholm. How collaboration changed my thinking. So I've learned that molecular findings become more useful when interpreted alongside epidemiological patterns. Remember, the malaria study we did was to go into the field, and our field site was Ebola. And all the field workers and nurses were part of this program. Clinical observation gained deeper significance when collected to biomedical and genetic data. And public health interventions are more effective when formed and informed by medical sociologists and community experts. So some of these lessons that are learned are very important in forming my future for a future in research and interdisciplinary research. At UNIMED, I have also adopted this interdisciplinary research when I formed my TETFund NRF project, and included both an epidemiology from public health, biostatisticians, clinicians also were involved, and that made sure that this project worked well. How do we develop an institutional interdisciplinary collaborative culture? This is very important. So, like I said earlier, UNIMED have to develop this culture. And for the culture to work, we must have an interdisciplinary mindset. And this mindset should form a university policy. Disciplinary silos must be broken completely. And this requires intentional institutional mechanism to be instituted. Interdisciplinary research should cultivate curiosity that extends beyond your own discipline. You want to know not just, zoology, not just zoology. If this happens there, you want to be curious. Supposing these people from computer science join me in this research, how will this project go? So shared ownership also should be important, and mutual respect, as I said. This is very important. I don't know how many of you know now that there's another ranking, world ranking, that was just established last year. How many people know? And it was inaugurated at the World Economic Forum. It's a global interdisciplinary science ranking. Have you heard about it? Yes or no? This is a discourse. And the top 10 highest universities that were ranked, most of them came from the United States, Netherlands, but you can see Singapore showing up there. And this unique ranking measures university performance in 3 areas: both funding, interdisciplinary interactions, and publication. How did this cut-edge research? And this cut-edge research cannot be done in silos. So we need to imbibe that in UNIMED. Not because of that alone. Covenant University was part of the people recognized. They became the first in Nigeria and West Africa to get this award, or to be ranked in this new ranking system. And they third or fourth in Africa, although their ranking was even, they were one of the first 100. So what will we learn from Covenant University? I'm sorry my time is up. Maybe I spent so much time talking about, what do we learn from Covenant University that UNIMED can use to move forward in interdisciplinary research? They did not become a leading interdisciplinary research institute by chance. Their emergence reflects deliberate institutional policies, sustained investment. This table is not very clear. I'm sorry about that. Sustained development from the institution. So, intentionally, their university gave core priority for interdisciplinary research. In fact, funded it. They funded people, encouraged people. Promotion was based on whether you have an interdisciplinary research or not. So they had strong visionary leadership. Fortunately, we have one in UNIMED. And I'm so glad to hear that we are now developing a center for artificial intelligence within our university. By the way, the reason why Singapore got a third position was because they developed an AI institute that was specifically designed to enable bringing together computer scientists and artificial intelligence technology. And they brought expertise from all sides, from logistics, robotics, and finance states, and created a very interdisciplinary center that made them stand out, and they won third position in this ranking. So I've listed out what the university should do to gain such recognition, and how we should imbibe this culture within our system to provide scientists with the right footing and encourage people. So instead of marking people down for collaborating with others, we need to give them higher priorities, because those collaboration has really resulted in showcasing the university higher and higher. So culture rather than individual excellence is important. So I'm going to end this to just point out some of the important points we need, or some of the important attributes for giving a high or building a high performance successful interdisciplinary research. And it includes choosing collaborators. We don't choose collaborators because, did somebody put up the line? Is it me? Hello? You timed me. No. So I'll soon end soon, I'm sorry. So it includes, as listed, all there. And also, I'm call for action for a future together in UNIMED. And I'm encouraging all postgraduate students and faculty members to embrace interdisciplinary thinking in their research, form cross-departmental, cross-institutional collaboration. In fact, projects should not be just in one department. We should have supervisors from other departments inputting to the formation of these projects. Seek partnership to address real-world health challenges. Leverage on emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence. Thank God we are doing that in UNIMED. Genomics, bioinformatics. We should employ a bioinformatician in this university. Very, very important. He might not be in one department. He will just be somewhere coordinating everybody. So we need this university to be positioned for high impact research in Nigeria and Africa. What is my vision for UNIMED? I'm envisaging a university where anatomists, molecular biologists, clinicians, microbiologists, public health physicians, microbiology, we don't have engineers here, but people that are interested in microbiology engineering, data scientists and social scientists, thank God we have a social scientist in public health, will come together to address complex health challenges. And the university should create centers or groups that will work on specific projects that are very important in the world. I also envisage laboratories that share rather than own. We should share what we have. Grants that unite rather than divide. And postgraduate students that see collaboration as the natural language of science inquiry. Let us see that. So when all this interdisciplinary collaboration become embedded in the DNA of our institution, UNIMED will not simply participate in global scientific conversation, it will help to shape them. Our discoveries will extend beyond publication to influence clinical practices, health policies, and so on and so forth. So this is my concluding thought. Building do not create great universities. People do. And people achieve this greatness or this greatest scientific impact when visionary leadership creates an environment where collaboration is expected, supported, and rewarded, and also celebrated. If UNIMED succeed in imbibing interdisciplinary collaboration into its structural culture, it will not only transform research within its walls, but also strengthen healthcare, influence policy, and contribute lasting solutions to the health challenge in Nigeria and Africa, and also in the world. Thank you all for listening.
See how you are sweating.
I told you that I don't like it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ma. Please, a round of applause for the guest lecturer one more time. There couldn't have been a better way to wrap up the lecture other than this concluding thought. Deliberately, I asked that the concluding thought should be left, that buildings do not create great universities. People actually do. If we don't take anything away from here today, please let's take that one away. That buildings do not create great universities. People do. And I think that will be words on the marble for us next week in the newsletter. We want to sincerely appreciate our guest lecturer. The way she went about the lecture, she actually did it like a teacher, like a lecturer. At a point, I was feeling for her. The energy dropped. I felt like going to give her water, or I should give her a big hug in the process. But critically for me, the way she broke down the idea of interdisciplinary culture, saying that it could be multidisciplinary, it could be interdisciplinary, and it could be transdisciplinary, okay? And emphasizing the word synergy, how we all need to come together, that we can't operate in silo, and giving also personal examples, how that culture has rubbed off positively on our own research as a person, whether at individual level or at organizational level. I think we have a lot to take away from this. For me, the presentation wasn't surprising. It was actually what I was expecting. Again, let's appreciate Professor Rose Angela Nwuba. At this point, basically as part of our tradition in this school, we don't take anybody that comes here for granted. She has actually watered us today immensely. And she knows they instituted the tradition, and the tradition must continue. We also want to appreciate our guest lecturer by presenting a small package to her. She will not just come all the way from Ibadan. I will say, Mama, go back to Ibadan. And for me, I live in Ibadan. I will not want her to sanction me when I get back home over the weekend. I want to continue to eat amala and abula in Ibadan. Before she will use her influence to block that. Ma, may I please crave your indulgence to stand? And I will call on the acting registrar of the university to help us do this presentation.
Point of correction, I didn't come from Ibadan. I'm doing my sabbatical at Augustine University, Ilare, Lagos. So, that's by the way. So I'm coming from the Augustine University.
Response. We'll just leave it that way. I've responded.
Okay.
The picture can be
All right.
Yeah. On behalf of the university management, the council of this university, staff and students, I want to present to you this token for the great work you have done in our midst in the past and even today. We wish you well. We say thank you, man.
Thank you very much, Ma. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, gradually we are coming to the end of this lecture. I want to beckon on one of the newly minted professors in this university, Professor Bello, to help us give the vote of thanks. A round of applause for him.
Thank you very much for this privilege. First and foremost, we want to return all respect, adoration, and glory to the Almighty for making this occasion a success. It started from planning, then execution, and it appears as it is. We give all glory to God. Having said that, I want to appreciate the Vice Chancellor, who has been so gracious to grant all our requests, because without that, this gathering will not be possible. So we appreciate the Vice Chancellor for our generosity. The principal officers of the university, we want to thank you. Professor Wasiu Adebimpe, I want to thank you specially for that confidence you repose in us as a committee that we can do it. And I want to believe that the committee has not disappointed. Thank you very much, sir. To the postgraduate students, first, before coming back to my colleagues, actually, we organized this program all for you. And I want to believe you have been able to take home one or two things from the lectures given by eminent professor, Professor Umumba. We want to thank you very much for that beautiful lecture, ma'am. And I pray that as you return to your destination, God will grant you journey mercy. Back to the postgraduate students. We have spoken about inter, multi, trans. It's all about collaboration. And what we have taken home so far is just to let you know the power of collaboration. If you look at those scholars that are making waves today with emulatable research outputs. There are those ones that have imbibed the spirit of collaboration, locally or internationally. You can find out, you know. And this is what you need to look into. Whether we like it or not, that is the way to go as far as research is concerned. And you know the popular adage, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. No singular person can be smarter than all of us. So that is one thing to take home. Dear colleagues, I thank all of you for coming. I know your time is very precious. May the Almighty grant all of us journey mercies back to our destinations. Have a nice day.
Please let's put our hands together for Professor Bello. Thank you very much, sir. May I, the Dean, faculty, postgraduate school has just told me that I should give everybody a gift beyond what they are distributing. I think you should clap for him. The gift will get to all of us. As we are clapping, can we please rise so that you take the gift quickly? Don't worry, this one will not elude you. Please, let's be on our feet. Take this one too. You have been wonderful, wonderful audience that we had here. I'm going to throw it from here. Please be, so that somebody else will not take yours. Can you raise your right hand? Everybody, put it on your left shoulder. Thank you. Your left hand also up. Put it on your right shoulder. You have just given yourself a big hug for being a wonderful audience. And while we are standing, we bring this program to a close by taking the UNIMED anthem. Thank you.
For research that we get to all, to achieve the best in health sciences, build a nation, change the world, touching lives and making impact in the nation is our goal. Touching lives and making impact is how we will grow. UNIMED, UNIMED, giving all for a better tomorrow. UNIMED, UNIMED, that's our health for a greater nation. Pathway to a healthy nation, frontiers in medical innovation, and a benchmark in health education. Step by step in one accord, touching lives and making impact in the nation is our goal. Touching lives and making impact is how we will grow. UNIMED, UNIMED, giving all for a better tomorrow. UNIMED, UNIMED, that's our health for a greater nation.
It is outside of air to take the group photograph because of the rain outside.
From the first day on the chair, you brought calm to every air. Handshake firm, vision clear. Unitedly moving year to year. You held the line, you set the pace. Quiet strength, steady grace. Staff them well, see better days. And the compass found its way. Oh, we done watched it change. 1 year and we see the flame. Now steady hands, build the future with your plan. 1 year strong, 1 year strong. Professor Ibunoluwa. 1 year strong, who need the rise, give out the shine. Global eyes standing, more doors open, new dreams breathing, new hope spoken. Labs and halls with a brighter face. Every step shows a growing space. You fight for people, you lift the name. Turn the work into a flame. Now the praise don't cross the sea. Academic light for all to see. We dey watch the change. 1 year and we see the flame. Oh, now steady hands. Build a future with your plan. 1 year strong. 1 year strong. Professor Ibulolua. 1 year strong. You need to rise. You need to shine.